University deans, administrators, and presidential cabinet, please rise to receive your university faculty. Will our guests also please rise for the processional of the faculty and staff of Utah Valley University? Our guests may now be seated.
Congratulations on selecting UVU as your higher education destination. As a UVU student, you are now an integral part of a grand tradition of excellence in post-secondary education that goes back more than 70 years. Tonight is the beginning of a remarkable adventure. A vast world of educational, social, and personal growth opportunities await you. It's a night about opportunities and possibilities. At UVU, you will participate in a signature active learning process that we call engaged learning. That means you won't only study textbooks and be mentored by faculty. You'll be involved with hands-on learning opportunities that take you out of the classroom and into relevant, real-world experiences. Make your choice now to get involved, to actively engage in the full range of academic and student life opportunities in front of you. This is how you'll find the greatest measure of academic success and personal fulfillment. University students know a lot, but did you know? During fall semester 2011, student headcount totaled 33,395, making UVU the largest public university in the state of Utah. That means ever-expanding curriculum and program opportunities for you at one of the state's most vibrant and fastest-growing universities. UVU is also the 37th largest state university or college in the United States. As a graduate of UVU, you'll be able to take pride in UVU's regional and national reputation of academic and athletic excellence. Approximately 86% of UVU graduates live and work in Utah after completing their degree. That means employers in the state recognize the tremendous value of your UVU degree or certificate and know that you have the hands-on experience you need to be a successful employee. UVU's approach to engaged learning applies to disciplines across the academic spectrum, from aviation science to geology to theater arts and everything in between. For entrepreneurship students, engaged learning means starting a business as a class assignment. For automotive students, it means fine-tuning the engine of the Salt Flats Racer that may break a land speed record. For theater students, it means opportunities to hone your craft through workshops with actors the likes of Seinfeld's Jason Alexander. No matter what course of study you choose to pursue, at UVU you can turn your passions and dreams into an engaged learning experience that leads to a fulfilling career and life. You can broaden and deepen your educational experience at UVU through an eye-popping assortment of programs and academic opportunities such as study abroad, internships, grants for engaged learning, Entrepreneurship Institute, Center for the Advancement of Leadership, volunteer and service learning, just to name a few.
My UVU education is more than just the business degree I'll receive when I graduate. It's also teaching me how to be an entrepreneur.
When it comes to our students, my intention is to be able to provide for them an exemplary, engaged learning experience, to be able to have students also contribute to what we could call real-world science, and have students be prepared and be ready to take the next step in their academic and personal and professional careers.
At UVU, you can customize your education and have a blast at the same time by participating in programming that will stretch your mind and strengthen your resume. In addition to academic life, you can choose from literally hundreds of activities that take you out of class and into a vibrant student life community. Those activities range from participating in student government or student clubs. UVU has over 100. To intramural sports or civic and volunteer service. From the Outdoor Adventure Center, you can sign up for a rock climb, rent a kayak or snowshoe, and explore the region's natural beauty. Don't forget to take in a concert or play presented by students and faculty in UVU's esteemed performing arts, music, and theatrical arts departments.
My theater studies at UVU have gotten me prepared and so excited to pursue my lifelong dream in New York City.
In 2010, UVU's ballroom dance team won the College Dance Championships Mirror Ball Trophy on the popular ABC television program Dancing with the Stars.
Utah Valley University!
Whether you're attending UVU on athletic scholarship or screaming "Go Wolverines" from the mall, Mighty Athletic Wolverine League, you can offer proud support for the university's sports teams. For 3 years running, UVU Athletics has brought home the Great West Conference's Commissioner's Cup. In 2011, UVU All-Americans included Ben Kerr in wrestling, Chris Benson in baseball, and Isaiah Williams in basketball. Also among UVU alumni are U.S. Olympians Noel Pikus-Pace.
This was the greatest school and the best times of my life. I loved attending here. I loved my classes. I loved running track and field. And without UVU, I could not have gone to the Olympics.
Ronnie Price of the NBA and slugger Goose Kalunki, drafted in June by the San Diego Padres. No matter what course of study you choose to pursue, Utah Valley University is your engaged learning access point for everything from technology certificates to high-demand master degrees. And more than simply earning a degree, your time at UVU can be filled with hands-on experiences, meaningful relationships, and memories that will positively shape the entire course of your life. Engage in something great at UVU.
As the video so clearly shows, we believe that UVU offers academic, athletic, and extracurricular programs that rival any in our state or nation. My name is Michelle Taylor, Associate Vice President of Enrollment, and I am personally pleased and proud, as are all of us here on the platform tonight, to welcome you, our freshman class of 2012, to Utah Valley University. Tonight is about introducing you to the opportunities in front of you so that you may gain a sense of purpose and pride as you embark on your journey as a UVU Wolverine. Whether you have come to UVU for a certificate, an associate's degree, or a bachelor's degree, or are yet undecided, UVU offers much to unlock the potential that exists inside of you. I invite you to embrace your journey and take advantage of all that UVU can offer you. Thank you.
Honored freshmen, universities are much more than bricks and buildings. Although our campus seeks to offer many technological and physical advantages, it is our people that make Utah Valley University a unique place to learn and grow. My name is K.D. Taylor. I'm the Dean of University College. I present to you many of the faculty, advisors, and staff that will be shaping and guiding your educational journey. Esteemed faculty and staff, university administrators, please rise to be presented to the freshman class of 2012. Colleagues, tonight you are reminded anew of the great and awesome responsibility you have as professors, mentors, and guides of young and open minds. I solemnly charge you to accept this responsibility with an earnest desire to conduct yourself at all times with the integrity befitting your discipline, the teaching profession, and the university. I urge you to strive each day to display your love and passion for knowledge and to facilitate learning both inside and outside the classroom. I challenge you to see the potential within each and every face and help each one to find it within themselves. Finally, I ask you to remember that you were once a student such as these, and keep in mind the obstacles that they will face, being ready with compassion and encouragement as you help them to meet the higher expectations of a college education and to achieve their own goals. Please affirm your agreement to this charge by responding, "We will."
We will.
Thank you. Please be seated. You have witnessed our faculty and staff affirm their commitment to you. Please honor their commitment and status as respected teachers and mentors by standing and honoring them with a round of applause. Thank you. Please be seated. It is now my distinct privilege to present to you the President of Utah Valley University, Dr. Matthew S. Holland, and Dr. Daniel Fairbanks, Associate Dean of the College of Science and Health, who will bring to you the evening's Convocation address.
Well, this is a very thrilling sight. This is the first time we've done anything like this. You are the inaugural class of the freshman convocation, and we are so excited. I'm thrilled to see so many parents here and the support. I am just so delighted that so many of our faculty are here. Please take a look at those good people. It was so appropriate for you to stand and thank them tonight. As you might imagine, these are busy people, and this is one of the busiest times of the year as they're getting ready to receive you into classes and have courses prepared and lectures ready, and yet they want to be here tonight, along with a whole slew of administrators and staff who are here just to give you one message, that you really matter, and we want you to succeed, and we're going to do everything we can as an institution to try to make that happen. And that's what this night is about. We want to challenge you to take the most of this educational opportunity that you have and know that you've got partners here that will work as hard as they possibly can to help you succeed. Now, as we do so, I've got a few thoughts to share with you tonight. As we begin, though, I want you'll have to kind of listen to me, but the real star of the night is Dan Fairbanks. Take a look, a good close look right now at Dr. Fairbanks and what he's doing. He started, already he's moving so fast. He started with that unshapen ball of clay, and he's going to be molding a bust of Thomas Jefferson. While I talk a little bit about Thomas Jefferson and some thoughts that for me are reflective of what UVU stands for and a kind of challenge that I took from the life of Thomas Jefferson that I hope and think may be a message for you too as you begin this educational journey. Dr. Fairbanks is the grandson of Avard Fairbanks, the premier, I think, sculptor of Utah, if not one in the nation. He's inherited those genes as well as some others. In fact, he's a geneticist himself and a very accomplished academic and an academic leader in the field of science. And we'll hear a bit more from him in just a minute. But let me begin now, if we can, calling up the presentation. And I'd like to introduce myself to you. This is a big, large institution. We want to keep it as personal as possible, so I'd like to say just a word so you know me a little bit better. I am a professor of political science. That was what I did before I came to UVU, and my particular area of emphasis was American political thought. People often ask me, what's the best book ever written about America and democracy? And I say, without any irony, that I think the best book ever written about American democracy was written by a Frenchman, Alexis de Tocqueville. And in the beginning of this book, he says that if you want to understand a nation, you should really look to its beginnings. The same is true, he says, of human beings. If you look at their beginnings, or as he puts it, the entire man is, so to speak, to be seen in the cradle of the child. So I won't go over the boring stuff of my adulthood, just give you a little glimpse of my childhood so you have an appreciation of who your president is. First of all, I was born in a sink in South Provo. Very quickly after that, my parents introduced me to the good life. I was rather spoiled. Of course, I did have some issues when my mother misdressed me as my sister one day. We've all had those moments, I'm sure. Here I am with I'm going through the various phases of life, if you will. Many of you have been through this. This was my Wyatt Earp phase. This was my all things American phase. Don't miss those socks. And of course, my favorite phase, the Pee Wee Herman phase. So, if you combine those last two, you figure out a guy who's strange enough to grow up and get a PhD in American political thought. This is a picture of my father. Some of you know, a slimmer and somewhat grimmer version than many are familiar with. Here I am, a picture with the rest of my family. I'm proud to say that my brother can now hold his head up on his own, and my mother's got her hair under control. High school years weren't the most suave years. If you take a look there, you can see the permagrin that I had as a child was still there all through high school. Not a lot of progress. Now in high school, you know, you might think a future president of the university would be voted by his classmates most likely to succeed, or some grand honor. I was voted by my classmates the boy in the class with the largest mouth. That was both a physical assessment as well as a verbal. That is a full potato masher in my mouth. I got my undergraduate degree at Brigham Young University, and in and around those years and beyond, I had an opportunity to do some travel. Spent a couple of years in Scotland in the service of my church. Afterwards, I spent some time studying in the Middle East, where I traveled extensively through Israel and Egypt, meeting with faculty and professors in a number of those countries, having a fabulous experience. Also spent some time in Greece studying and doing business. These were wonderful moments. Then I worked for a consulting company. You can tell they hired people of varying degrees of intelligence. That's how I snuck in there. Then went back to graduate school, christened that event by buying a 1964 Chevy Corvair. For any car aficionados, you'll know this was the car that launched Ralph Nader's career. He described it as a car unsafe at any speed. So I did my graduate degree at Duke University, where I got a master's and a PhD, and again in political science with a focus in political thought. During those years, I met the lovely Paige Bateman, who was sort of asleep at the wheel and agreed to marry me. She made me very happy. I assure you that is not a doctored photo. That is real. We now have 4 children. We're wonderfully happy. They are here with me tonight. I'm grateful to have them here with us in support. Thank you. I came on board here at Utah Valley University. I was inaugurated on October 9th, 2009, and I just can't say enough how much I love this institution and what a professional and personal thrill it is for me to be here. A big part of that is because of the mission of this institution. I'll just say a word. You may not be able to read that very clearly, but it's our mission. It's a phrase from our mission statement. Utah Valley University is a teaching institution which provides opportunity, promotes student success, and meets regional educational needs. The graphic that you will see there is something emblematic of our core themes and values right now. At the heart of it, in that yellow, is student success. The thing that drives us day in and day out are you students, and doing everything we can do to help you have a successful experience, starting with a successful academic experience, but going beyond that, having a holistic, good personal experience, good professional preparation. All of that remains front and center in what we're trying to achieve as an institution. There are three values, if you will, that support that core aspiration that we think will help us achieve this effort of student success. We talk about being a serious institution. UVU is a very serious place. We have standards, high standards, and expectations. When you come into these classrooms, we are going to push you and challenge you. Some of you have gone through high school and maybe you haven't had to study that hard. That's going to change now that you're at Utah Valley University, because we are really serious about providing a first-rate education for you, and you'll have to step up and meet us halfway in order to achieve that level of student success. Again, we'll give you every resource we can, but this will come with a set of high expectations, great scholarly debates and engagements, a high civic discourse about this issue and that, careful and rigorous investigation in the sciences and the social sciences, the highest standards of expectation in our athletics and our creative endeavors. This is a serious institution, and you should know that. We also believe in being an engaged institution, and not in that special Utah County kind of way, okay? I mean engage with the world around us, taking your classroom experience out into the world, drawing the world into your classroom, and exercising the gifts and the knowledge that you will gain here in ways that will make a difference in the world around you. And then finally, we talk about being an inclusive institution. We want everyone to feel welcome on this campus, and this cuts across what would otherwise be some divides at other institutions, possibly. So whatever your socioeconomic background, whatever your racial background, whatever your religious background, whatever your academic background, we want you to be welcome here and feel comfortable on this campus and able to pursue things with a lot of support and a lot of civility in all that we do. Let me just give you a few illustrations of these principles in action. Our student success, we've had a couple of our business students featured on national TV with their Kiss Sticks product. Some of you have seen that. We've established just recently 4 patents through our Small Business Development Center. We've won the Great West Commissioner's Cup in athletics 3 years in a row now, dominating our conference. Numerous medals at Skills USA. We've been invited to participate in the very prestigious College Theater Competition, received an Academy Award nomination for a digital media animation film. I could go on and on. These are just illustrative of some of the great examples of student success. You'll have those successes by virtue of coming to UVU. In being engaged, since 2007, we've given away, not given away, but awarded over $1 million worth of grants to students who are working with faculty and community members on engaged learning projects and research contributions and community activities that draw upon what you've learned here at UVU. We'll continue to sponsor those programs moving forward. Over 2,000 internships. We'll encourage all of you to pursue an internship and put that good student learning to work in the real world. We've got a fun university project on helping this community get third graders on target, if you will, for numeracy and literacy. There's a lot that could be done there that you might have an opportunity to do. We're working with business to forge good career pathways and a clear educational path for that. In terms of being inclusive, again, just a handful of things that we talk about here. On the academic side, we still have very robust certificate and two-year programs. Some of you will want trade and technical education, a certificate, a two-year degree, and you'll be set. That's great. We have a lot of those programs. We'll continue to develop more of them. Others of you will want to go on for a four-year degree. We now have as many four-year degrees as two-year degrees, and now 3 master's degrees. So whatever your aspirations are across that spectrum, there's a place for you here at UVU. We have students from all 50 states, 73 different countries. We're working hard to develop the attendance, if you will, and participation of some populations that are underserved and underrepresented. We have a new Center for Women's Success to try to help more young women come and graduate. We have a number of programs like that for other populations. This is a place that's home to and a commitment to interreligious understanding. It's no great secret that this institution sits right next to the LDS Church's largest institute, but this is not an exclusively LDS school. We want to have understanding between various religions and people without religion, and this is a robust place to have those understandings and for people from all backgrounds and perspectives to feel comfortable to pursue those things. Finally, on the serious front, again, just a few illustrations. A 4-year geomatics program, the only one in the state. We've just started. We host the only 4-year biotechnology program. We have a personal financial planning program that just started a few years ago and is now a top 10 program in the nation. We have faculty who are going off to exotic places to study in the world's greatest particle physics laboratories. We have chefs in our culinary program winning national gold medals, and Juilliard-trained artists who are playing on our Steinway pianos. Again, there are just so many. I could go down this list of these great faculty who are over here on the left and tell you about their great accomplishments, their great preparation. They are the best of the best, and we are lucky to have them here, and you'll be lucky to be taking courses from them. So that's just a little bit of my picture and view of UVU and the school that you're coming to and why I love it, and I know that you'll come to love it too. Let me shift now to a slightly, I'll just say one other thing. In this spirit, you've all received a letter from me. I've challenged all of you to do some reading over the summer, 2 books, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind and Cato. The first book is a contemporary piece of writing, a very inspiring story about a young man who grew up in the world of kind of magic and religion and realized that he needed to pursue some elements of science to figure out the world around him in a better way, and was able to harness electricity for his village. It's a wonderful story. He'll be on this campus. I'll be hosting at my home. You're all welcome to attend. At 7 p.m. on September 5th, we'll do that, the book I've just discussed. On the 4th, we'll be discussing Plato. This is a classic older play from a British thinker who was writing about the Roman Republic, and this was published and popular right around the time of the American Revolution. It was very inspiring to George Washington. This play will be performed on campus. We'll have a wonderful night discussing that play, so you're welcome to come by either of those nights to enjoy that. Okay, now for what I hope will be sort of part little lecture. It's your first day of class, so let me give a little lecture here. But do so in a way that I hope will inspire you to do your very best and to take your education here at UVU seriously. I want to do so through the life and legacy of Thomas Jefferson. This is the picture, the cover of a book. I'll say more about this. This is my own personal copy of a book that I was given as a young man. But Jefferson has been a source of interest to me and has set a wonderful example in so many ways to me. There are some other questions about Jefferson that we have to be candid about too. I'll say a word about that. But why was Jefferson so amazing? He truly was what we would call a Renaissance man. He had amazing abilities across a range of different, if you will, vocations and avocations. He was a gardener, a scientist, an innovator, a linguist, a politician, an author, an architect, a musician, an inventor. And I think that's why in some ways, he is a kind of a source of inspiration to Dan Fairbanks. Let me just give you, I'm going to ask Dan to say just a word here for a second, but let me just show you some of the things that Jefferson is responsible for. There's a picture of Monticello, the home that he designed that you can still visit. It's a wonderful reflection of some key architectural periods and inspirations that he himself designed. A violin that he played, a revolving book stand. He was always reading and wanted to read multiple books and keep track of where he was. He developed his own cipher system to write things in code. That's a polygraph machine. That's not a lie detector test. It was a way for him, it was an early photocopy machine. He wrote a lot of correspondence and wanted to have copies of it, and this was a way for him to write a letter and have a copy made as he was writing. It was his invention and his patent. Wonderful gardens that he produced, a lap desk for his personal study, a great clock that kept the time accurately, more accurately than anything in the colonies for numbers of days, and a drafting desk. So his talents were truly amazing. Dan, you want to take just a minute? And I know Jefferson is a figure of interest and influence for you, and say a word about that and a little bit about what you're doing over there.
What I'm doing today is a bit of a family tradition. My grandfather and my father often did these sculpture lectures, and for me it's a great privilege to depict Jefferson, showing you both his physical features as one of the world's experts on Jeffersonian history. President and Dr. Holland will be speaking about his life. My great admiration for Jefferson is, as President Holland mentioned, he clearly was a Renaissance man, even though he lived well beyond the Renaissance, as an agriculturalist, a scientist, a writer, a philosopher, a world traveler. He became familiar with the great people throughout the world of his day, and had such a great influence on the founding of our country, and also on the founding of a university, the University of Virginia. And for me, it is a great privilege to share the podium and give this presentation to you.
Thank you, Dan. By all means. It's especially fitting that Dr. Fairbanks be doing this, since he too is obviously a Renaissance man, a scientist, a really premier scientist, a national, if not international, expert in his field of geneticism and in science more broadly. And yet you'll see his handiwork on display here. That he can do that this artistically, this fast, is really almost sickening, frankly, that he is that talented. But we're lucky to have him. Just one last word about, one last testimonial of Jefferson's abilities. This is John F. Kennedy hosting a group of Nobel laureates in the White House one night, and he said, this was the first time they'd really done that in the White House, "I think this is the most extraordinary collection of talent, of human knowledge that has ever been gathered at the White House, with the possible exception of when Thomas Jefferson dined here alone." Well, that's who we're dealing with. I want to say just a word then about, there's so many things that we could say about Jefferson as philosopher, Jefferson as academic, if you will, as the founder of the University of Virginia. I want to talk about him, though, as the founder of America in many ways, at least a founder, and say some things about that. I've got a quote from Machiavelli. He's a much older political thinker, and he said this in one of his most famous books: "Nothing is more difficult to handle, more doubtful of success, nor more dangerous to manage than to put oneself at the head of introducing new orders." What America was at the time of Jefferson and his fellow founders was becoming a new order. It was a new way of thinking about how human beings would organize themselves and live together. And Machiavelli's point is that that is a very dangerous thing to be part of. People don't like change usually, especially when it means kind of wholesale change, the way societies work and operate. It was a very dangerous thing. In many respects, Jefferson was nothing less than a traitor to the British cause and knew that he was putting his life on the line, along with others that were at the Continental Congress and serving in the Continental Army. And so this is a very heroic thing that he did. Of course, there were many ways in which we might see his contribution. I'll just focus on the one you probably do know the best, and that's in his role as author of the Declaration. It's hard to overestimate the impact of this document. When John Hancock first received it, he said, "This will serve as the ground and the foundation of government." Later scholars have commented, "It contains the essential ideas of American democracy and has remained its creed and standard throughout the years of its subsequent development." Another scholar has said recently in a nationally recognized book, "It's the moral standard by which the day-to-day policies and practices of the nation could be judged." Well, if we wanted to, we could. I could spend another hour or two or three talking to you about the content of this remarkable document. I will just take a few moments to summarize a few key things and then conclude. The document, the theoretical core of the document, if you will, comes in this line, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. For Jefferson, that was a core truth, and everything else emanated from that. And so the question becomes, what did he mean by that? Did he mean that everybody had everything in equality? No, obviously not. That wasn't the case then, and it's not the case today. Did it mean that everyone was perfectly equal in intelligence and talents and wherewithal? No, that wasn't true then, it isn't true today. What he did mean was this, that all men are created equal, meaning there is no one has a natural bit of authority to rule over you. You are entitled to rule over yourself, and in that you are an equal with every other person. This was a new idea in many respects, at least in any broad-scale way that he was trying to make it. Much of the world was laboring under the idea that some people were entitled to rule over other people because of where they were born, how much money they had, certain gifts that they had. And Jefferson says, no, that's not right. It's no one has that natural authority to rule over you. You have all the right to rule yourself. And out of that, for Jefferson, cascaded several other conclusions. That meant that you had these rights to rule yourself. They were unalienable. They couldn't be taken away from you. They were yours with or without anyone saying they were yours. And if that was true, then government's only or primary reason for being would be to secure your exercise of those rights, to secure your freedom. And so if government was going to be just, it had to operate by your consent. You had to say, okay, I give my allegiance to this government because they are protecting me in these basic rights. And then finally, if government failed in that duty, you had a right to throw that government off, which is what the colonists were concluding. They were no longer sufficiently protected in those rights, and so they were entitled to throw off the government. Well, this affected not just a revolution in America, but a revolution all across the world. Maybe as a way to sum this up, I want to go to one other commentary about Thomas Jefferson. This is from Abraham Lincoln. All honor to Jefferson, to the man who in the concrete pressure of a struggle for national independence by a single people had the coolness, forecast, and capacity to introduce into a merely revolutionary document an abstract truth, applicable to all men and at all times, and to so embalm it there that today and in coming days it shall be a rebuke and a stumbling block to the very harbingers of reappearing tyranny and oppression. If you look at this statement from Lincoln, I think what you can see are a number of these core values and aspirations that I've talked about being important here at UVU. Look at that, kind of that second clause. To the man who in the concrete pressure of a struggle for national independence. Jefferson was engaged. This isn't just some philosopher sitting off to the side, not thinking about not getting involved. He was a philosopher, he was a thinker, but he was also very involved in a dangerous but important struggle. Now, having said that, he had the coolness, the forecast, and the capacity to introduce into a revolutionary document an abstract truth. He was serious. These ideas didn't just spring into his head. He had studied, he had thought, he had reflected. He had time away from the hustle and bustle of the real world to think and study and reflect and get to the position that gave him the insight to move forward. And it's a truth, he said, that was applicable to all men and at all times. And this speaks to our commitment of being inclusive, that we are an institution for all. And Jefferson wanted to set this country up so that it would be a country for all. Now, we have to be candid about the fact, did Jefferson have slaves? Yes, he did. Was that reprehensible? Yes, it was. I think this is a very important question that students and others could investigate and form their judgments about why he did and didn't do the things that he professed to. But it doesn't change the fact that what he professed to was powerful, such that when the man who comes along that does undo this terribly inhuman and reprehensible institution of slavery, namely Lincoln, when he comes along, the founder he turns to and the language he turns to is the language of Jefferson. So whatever he may have done or not done in his own immediate life, he certainly put pen to paper in the most powerful way, I think, of all the founders to say that all men, and if you read his original declaration, he included African Americans in that all men are entitled to freedom and to govern themselves. And so we look to Jefferson, I look to Jefferson as somewhat emblematic of that engagement with the world, a seriousness of purpose, and an inclusiveness and a determination to reach out and to have it to all. I think in saying these things, I wish to conclude on this note, that education is essential. This is true in at least two ways as far as Jefferson is concerned. First of all, as Jefferson said, an educated citizenry is a vital requisite for our survival as a free people. If what he said is true, the only way this democracy works is if the rising generation goes and gets an education so that you can be part of the civic project, so that you can think and vote and act and speak. It's absolutely essential. He put it another way. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. Jefferson believed passionately in education, and so he started a university. He believed passionately in education, and so he proposed a very elaborate scheme of public education for rich and poor alike, certain that that was the key to providing the way forward for a democratic republic to survive. It also was key to his own success. Jefferson himself, in his college years in particular, was sometimes known to study 15 hours a day. He wrote in a letter to John Adams, "I cannot live without books." It's this image of Jefferson I hope to leave with you in a way that I hope may say something to you in a way it said something to me at a very young age. This book that I was given to me by my parents when I was 5 years old. They themselves were graduate students. They didn't have much money. I slept on a little camp cot in a small graduate student apartment. We ate very inexpensively. We didn't do many exotic things, but somehow they found enough money to buy me some books, and this was one of them. And I read it, and I've read it, and you can see I've taped it up and kept it with me. There's a passage in here that is still vivid in my imagination today as it was as a young man. It's this picture of Thomas Jefferson with his feet in a bucket of cold water in the early morning hours. Here's the entry to that chapter. You can see the little underlining. I did it even as a young person. When Tom finished college, he decided to be a lawyer. In those days, a man could become a lawyer in 6 weeks. Tom wanted to be the best lawyer in Virginia. he worked for 5 years. He got up every morning at 5 o'clock. To wake himself up, he put his feet in cold water. At night, he studied long past midnight. He felt a good lawyer should know other things besides law, so Tom studied history and science and geography. He learned to read and write in 6 languages. Well, you may not grow up to be the President of the United States, but you might. You may grow up to do a lot of things, but whatever you choose to do, I have this conviction. You will be better at it, you will be more successful at it, you will be more satisfied at it, and you will make a greater contribution if you take your UVU education seriously. If you treat your education like Thomas Jefferson did, and it may mean you have to get up early in the morning, or it may mean you have to stay up late at night sometimes, and it may be hard, but you've got to do it. And if you'll do it and put that first, you will be amazed at the things that can happen to you in your life and the future that awaits you. I'm honored, delighted that you have chosen to make UVU your educational partner. We're ready to work with you. I hope that you will choose and decide this night to work with us as hard as you possibly can to have the best educational experience possible. Thank you very much.
Now you can see why I consider it a great pleasure to come to work every day, to work with the quality of men like President Holland, who cares so passionately about each of you and brings everything that he has to help and to bless you and to strengthen the opportunity that you have here. Good evening. I'm Corey Duckworth, the Vice President of Student Affairs. In response to all that you've seen and heard this evening, it's our hope, of course, that tonight you would be inspired to enthusiastically embrace every aspect of your impending college experience. However, during my many years of working with students, I've learned that no matter how excited you might be right now, events are going to occur in the coming days and months that are going to cause you to question your decision to attend college. As a university, we would be remiss if we did not help to cultivate the mindset that will help you to deal with these challenges head on. Under your seat, you'll find a brochure that looks like this. Please take out your brochure and watch a short video with me.
With everything, there's a choice. In every decision you make, you can choose to do the harder things, like take the less traveled road, tackle the most difficult challenge first, start early and stay late, delay gratification. You get the idea. These choices are where you find a greater chance for good things to happen in the long run. Good things that most people want, but only some people are willing to work for. Things like better career options, better health, better opportunities for your children, and a better community to live and work in. Things that college graduates are more likely to achieve. Or you can make other choices, easier choices, choices that let you sleep in and play more, short-term choices that solve an immediate need but lead to less of a chance for those good things you want of yourself, your future, and your family. And with every decision, you make that choice. You choose the better chance at making good things happen, or you settle for the lesser chance. It's your choice. It seems simple, right? But you know that there will be times, those challenging times, that in the short run make it seem like you've made the wrong choice, that you can't move forward no matter what you do. But those very challenges, those obstacles that block your path now, might prove the very lessons that you need to face and overcome the bigger and more difficult obstacles you'll face later on, making you stronger and better prepared for your future and the better life you've chosen. So what will you choose? Yeah, you've already decided to attend Utah Valley University. You've enrolled in courses, bought textbooks, and found an apartment. Maybe you've even taken out a student loan. But have you made the choice to complete your education, earn a degree, and have a better chance at the life you want? Do you have a plan to ensure that your college experience at UVU is a success? Making some decisions right now about how you approach your university experience at UVU will go a long way in making sure you meet your college goals and put yourself on a path to the better life you want. Start today by making 3 simple choices. Number 1, choose to commit to completing your degree program. Make that choice to improve your chances of success and rise above mediocrity. Approach every challenge or hardship with the intent to learn and succeed. 2, work hard. Accept that worthwhile things rarely come easy or cheap. Apply genuine effort and attention to all your schoolwork, activities, or sports. Push yourself beyond your present limits and earn your results. That's where the rewards are. The third choice? Persist. Know that life is often difficult and unpredictable. Embrace the challenges as opportunities that help you grow. Learn from your mistakes, cultivate a positive mental attitude, and keep moving forward. When you make these choices, you'll be part of a new student success program called UV Commit. UV Commit will connect you to activities, services, and resources specifically designed to help you complete your chosen degree program. Through UV Commit, you can link up with other students who share similar goals and maybe some of the same challenges, providing extra support to help you realize your college goals. Make the choice to enroll in UV Commit today and start taking steps that will result in a UVU degree, a resume, and the chance for a better future.
Tonight is one of those rare moments when you have the opportunity to contemplate your future and to make a decision about how you will choose to respond to circumstances that you have not yet faced. You might say, how is that possible? How can I possibly decide now to respond to something that hasn't even happened yet? I would respond that you can say that you can create and cultivate a mindset right now that will not allow you to respond to any obstacle by quitting or giving up on your college goals. On the back of the brochure is a pledge card for UV Commit. Tonight, I am challenging each of you to take this pledge. The rest of you might be wondering what we're asking the students to sign. We're going to put the pledge up on the screen for all to see. Although we strongly desire for you to finish your program at Utah Valley University, indeed, this entire evening is built around inspiring you to that end, this is not a pledge to UVU. The UV Commit pledge is a pledge to yourself, to your future, and to all that you are hoping and dreaming to accomplish someday. We believe that the very act of contemplating what it will take to make that dream a reality will take you one step closer to making it come true. We know that it will take commitment, hard work, and persistence for you to complete your college program. There will be obstacles, big obstacles. Decide now how you will choose to face them. Promise yourself right now that you won't let yourself take the easy path. Please take a moment and sign your cards together as freshmen of the class of 2012. You'll notice that there are no time frames on the pledge card. Every student is different and will have a different path. It might take you 2 years, 4 years, 6 years or more. More important than the time frame is the consistent progress towards your goal. Likewise, not every student has the same educational goal, and the goals you have now may change. Perhaps you're here to pursue a technical certificate, but later decide that you want to stay and complete a bachelor degree. That will not invalidate the pledge you are making now, only make it more personal as you unlock your potential and fine-tune your goals. We want to help you in any way that we can, so we're asking you to fill out the bottom portion of the card, tear it off, and turn it into us tonight so that we can know that you're serious about your college goals. There will be a booth outside, and some of our student helpers will be at various stations collecting them as well. When you turn it in, we will give you a decal that can be placed on the back of your UV ID card. Showing this decal at many of our food court locations and campus events will entitle you to some great discounts that other students do not receive. Just one of the many ways we'll be helping you get the most out of your UVU experience. Before I turn the podium over to our great student body president, Chad Workman, I just want to wish all of you great success and let you know that all of us here in student affairs and in the faculty are here to help you be successful. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for making this commitment to UVU. I'll now turn it over to Chad Workman.
Thank you so much, Corey Duckworth. So as you can tell by looking behind me, everyone behind me is in professional dress. Yeah. I guess I missed the memo. No, I'm just kidding. They asked me to dress like this because you have just received several discussions that were amazing by our administration about how serious we are as an institution. And it's my job to also mimic that, but as well to let you know that we're also an institution where you can have a lot of fun. And so as student body president, me and my organization, our whole goal is for student success, whether that's academic or social. And so just be looking in the future this year for activities that will provide you year-round. So right now, I would ask for all freshmen to please stand. And under your chair, you'll find a hat. And if you could please grab those hats. All right. Honored freshmen, esteemed faculty, advisors, staff, and administrators, mom and dads and family who are in attendance, it is my distinct privilege to formally induct these new freshmen into the student body of Utah Valley University. Please place your hats on your head and wear it proudly. You guys are now Wolverines. Give yourselves a round of applause. So just so all of you are aware, these hats will get you free admission to the food following the event. Now we understand that, families and friends who are in attendance, you don't have hats, but we'll go ahead and feed you anyway. Freshmen, just make sure that you have those hats. We don't want other freshmen on campus coming and stealing your food, all right? Please be seated, thank you. One thing I really want to talk to you about before we move on to other events is that I really hope that your experience here at UVU, you don't forget who you are and what you want to do with yourselves. If you have a passion, if you want to make something of your life, and maybe other people will say it's crazy, it's not. As President Holland said, we are an engaged university. There are so many opportunities here on campus and people that will help you do what you want. For example, 2 years ago, I was roommates with a man named Clint Pulver. And one day he woke up with this crazy idea, and he drew on a piece of paper, and he showed me what this piece of paper looked like. And it was a group of 12 students, and they all had drums. It was a drum line. But they weren't normal students. Each of these students were wearing green spandex suits. And they had little jerseys on and little black shorts. And he told me, he said, this is what I want to do for UVU. And this is my passion. And I looked at him and I said, Clint, that's pretty weird. A green drum line. But he found support on campus. Actually, Bob Rasmussen, this is Dean of Students, he listened to Clint and he said, you know what, this is crazy, but I like it. Let's help you out. And so right now, it is my pleasure to introduce you to not only my friend who concocted this crazy idea of a Green Man group, but also to his friends who are helping him make this dream a reality. Please enjoy the video of the Green Man group. All right, we're going to do one more thing before we take off, and so I'm going to embarrass myself and sing the fight song with all of you, so I hope you all accompany me, all right? Take it away, pep band. Thank you so much for joining in on that. I forgot to tell you to stand, but you guys found out what was going on. Thanks. All right, so the Convocation program is now over. So Willie the Wolverine and the Green Man group, they're going to do a cadence, and they're going to lead you outside where there's going to be refreshments and the rest of the program. But please wait and be seated until the Green Man group has made their way back, and then we're going to get you some more entertainment outside. Thank you so much for coming.